through to one of the later sessions. I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce Cristhian Ortiz, who is a licensed project management professional. He's been recognized by the Project Management Institute as one of the top 50 young leaders in recent years. And he's got extensive experience working all over the world for Deloitte in LATAM, and he's now based in London doing a master's degree at the London School of Economics. So, Chris, lovely to have you on today.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And hello, everyone. It's a big pleasure to be here.
Amazing. And please feel free, I know as you've been doing in other sessions, put your name and where you're joining from in the chat. We love to see where everybody's dialing in from today. And I think one focus of this session is Chris is going to share some expertise on project management skills and sustainability and sort of the interlinking between those two things, which are actually very, very important. So Chris, before we dive in, I know you have a presentation. Any kind of opening thoughts that you'd love to share with our community?
For sure. Nowadays, we live a completely transformational process in the economical market. And one of the biggest skills that appear and rising for the coming years is project management. So what is project management? What is a project and how we can manage? So today, the main focus is understand what is a project, how we can use it, how can we use project management as a tool for creating sustainability solutions.
Sounds great. Without further ado, I'd love to sort of kick off the presentation. So Christian's going to walk through a couple of slides that he's prepared and give a bit of a more of a deep dive into the intersection of sustainability and project management. And following that, we'd love to open up the floor for a really great Q&A as we've done previously throughout the day. So Christian, I will go ahead and screen share for you. Okay, take it away.
Sure. If we go to the first slide. So basically, today, all of you guys have a great opportunity to know more about sustainability, to understand the challenge, the current situation. And just briefly, I'm going to speak about it. I think that this chart presented in some recent years express a lot how the temperature of the planet is changing. So nowadays, the forecast of increasing the temperature for the coming years is going to be high, and there are many different kind of challenges that we should overcome. There are many important institutions that are working on it, but there are a lot of things to do so far. And at the same time, and if we go to the next one, please. At the same time, the global market is changing completely. Nowadays, based off new technologies like AI and new ways of working, the rising of jobs for project management is increasing. Actually, the talent gap in 2021 made by the Project Management Institute found that more than 25 million new project professionals will be needed for 2030. So what it means it means this is a big opportunity for us to understand, to learn, and to apply some important knowledge about project management. The market is going in that direction. But nowadays, maybe we have some ideas about what is a project. Maybe in the university, you are involved in a project, but exactly what is a project? How works a project inside any organization? So if we continue, please. We're going to start, first of all, defining what is a project. And when I was doing my bachelor, I had that question, and there are many answers in different perspectives from the academia, from another authors. But essentially, I found this meaning of what is a project based on the Project Management Institute, which is very clear. A project is a temporary effort it means that it has a beginning and an end, and which generate a product, a service, a result, which is unique. So basically, a project is a temporary effort that produce a unique product or service. That's it. This is the common agreement of what is a project. Maybe if you are interested in project management for your career and you are in an interview, potentially this is going to be one of the first questions that the recruiter is going to ask you. And if you have this concept in your hands, you probably are going to highlight your profile compared to others. Okay, so basically this is a project, and this is important for us to understand. It's a temporary effort. So a project is not forever. We just have certain kind of time for doing that. And we create or generate a product, service, or result, which is unique. It means unique because it's the first in its class. So we're going to see in a very tangible example. So if we go to the next one, please. And I have a question for you, guys. And based on the concept of what is a project, Duolingo app, is it considered a project? So maybe you can react in the chat with your favorite emoji. If it's a project, just put emoji there. And if it's not, just not answer. It could be a project, yes or not. Maybe based on these two factors that we learn now. I couldn't see the chat, but I suppose there are mixed responses. Okay, so there are you can share your favorite gift, and we're gonna give a couple of seconds more. Some smile faces.
Yeah, this is a great example. We are huge fans, even as a team at Localize. We adore Duolingo. So yeah, this is a good example.
Okay. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. So is it considered a project? So if we go to the next slide, just Duolingo is a project. Why? Because it was created by a temporary effort. So it has a beginning in the design process. All the engineers, the designers, the psychologists, the educators decided to run this app. And the product, the app at the end, it was unique. Okay. And then could be many iteration, but this is part of the operational process. But at the end, it's a project. It's a project. It's temporary. When we talk about temporary, it's just the limited time to build the product. It's not to build the life cycle of the product, just to build the product. And then if the product keep existing, this we call in project management as operational of the product. So, but basically the design, the first launch of Duolingo was a project. So we are now absorbing this knowledge, which is going to be important for our next examples. So if we keep continuing, Catherine, this is another great example. The Starship booster, like SpaceX, a couple of weeks ago, the chopstick landing, is it considered a project? What do you think? You can put your favorite emoji on the chat. It could be a project or not.
Yeah, this is very, very topical example. I love that.
All right. Thumbs up. Yes. You are sharing your favorite emoji. So some people say yeah. So if we think about based on the definition that we have, if we go to the next one, please, Catherine. Yes, this also considered as a project because it's a temporary effort. Which means the temporary effort, again, the design, the construction, and the release, and everything that make it possible. And it's a unique product, yes, because it's the first in its class. Okay, so this is a project. And we have another example. This is more very basic, and maybe all of us were involved in certain period of time. A birthday celebration with your friend, is it considered a project? Yes or no? So you can react on the chat. Okay. I think they're reacting. Um, and the answer is yes, it is a project. Because organizing a beer party, it has a beginning. You should call all your friends, see all the logistic, and we ended up with a celebration, right? And the unique product or services is the celebration with your friends, and this is a project. So Chris, what does it mean with this? So I've been involved in doing projects most of my time, and the answer is yes. Most of the things that we do is a project. And I said, okay, so okay, that's interesting. I can use that knowledge for get some success at work, and the answer is yes. So how? We understand now what is a project and a temporary effort, which generate unique product. Perfect, check. But what is project management? Basically, project management is the application of the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to the project activities to deliver value and meet objectives. So what kind of knowledge? Most of the knowledge is technical knowledge related of what kind of project you are. So for example, if you are very interested and eager to be part of the consulting, business consulting sector, you should know and understand clearly how an organization works. If you are more interested in marketing, you should know how a marketing plan works and how to develop the brand. Or if you are interested in the IT sector, you want to develop apps or design different infrastructure, you should understand clearly how it works. But at the same time, you should know exactly how to run a project. It means how you define a scope, what is the timeline, what is the budget, what are the risks that you're facing. So all of that is concerning about knowledge. The skills is another topic in which basically how you interact with others for creating the product or service that you're looking for. So skills like communication, decision-making process, teamwork, leadership, and so on are part of the set of skills that you need as a project manager. Tools, the tools that basically we use, the tools and techniques, so is software that help us to run a project, and techniques is like assessment risk or assessment stakeholders. But now, if we now understand what is a project, managing a project is applying knowledge, tools, techniques, and skills. So if we go deeper inside what is a project, we identify that any project has 5 different process groups. Okay, and why is important to know this? Because any project regarding the sector that you are interested in, most of them is going to have these 5 phases. Okay, the first one is initiating. It's basically when you establish the goals, the scope. The scope is what you are going to work for, the stakeholders who are going to be involved, for the people who are interested. If you have a client, who is the client, what is the client aspiration, etc. And the second part is the planning. So effectively, when you know what you need to do, what kind of objectives you are going to make, what kind of scope plan you're going to have, what kind of timeline, what kind of risk you're going to face, if you're going to buy something, what is the procurement process, etc. So this is the planning, when you plan everything. And the execution is basically you implement the task and perform all the plans and of course monitor the progress. And the fourth one is about related to monitor and controlling. You should be sure that you track the performance according to the standard. And we ended up having the final product, and this phase is the closing when we give the product to the client. right? So these 5 phases is important to understand how you can run a project. And until now, it sounds very easy. It's like everyone can be involved in a project. Okay, I'm interested. This is the future. This is me. I love this part. But there are some important key aspects that you should know. If we continue to the next one, please. Um, we realize that these different process group, they are not linear. So what it means this, it means that they interacted constantly during that time. So when you're initiating a project, you also start planning. When you are planning, you also start executing some task, and you are monitor all the project life cycle. And you don't need to wait until the end to close the project, because maybe you need to liberate some teams, some contractors you need to close, some agreements sometime before the last day. So basically, project management is an art that you should handle with a different kind of perspective, and with the time you start gaining more momentum of this. And if we continue, so this is project management, just in a very basic way, but in a way that if I'm in your position, I would like to hear it. So well, this is a project, and we understand what is a project. And there is another big component, which is sustainability. And you listen to about sustainability the whole day. There are many perspectives, many lengths to how we understand sustainability. One of my favorite is from Silvius in 2012. He, with his team, basically said that sustainability is a work in a way that can last long term by making something without running out of or harming the needed resources. Okay, it's basically how can we navigate it without impacting the environment of today and future generations. So this is sustainability in very simple way, just to grab some ideas. So if we have some examples, we can continue, please, Catherine. It's like see the fish in the ocean. The fishing sector should be responsible and very smart, because if you start getting all the fish from the ocean, we ended up having no fishes. So this is not sustainable. That's why the activity should be divided in specific months of the year to let the fishes reproduce, to keep making the same process. So this is an example of sustainability. And there are 6 principles of sustainability that is very related to project management, and we should have in mind to use it. So first of all, sustainability should be harmonized between the social, the environmental, and economical interests. So when we talk about sustainability, it's not only about the planet, but also about the people, how we interact as a society, how we design a task that let the others perform well in a well-being environment, how we can create a prosperous and a tangible economical activity without compromising the stakeholders. So it's how we can handle these 3 spheres. This is the first principle in sustainability. It has a focus in project management. The second one is about short and long term, which basically we can create an impact in the short term. You can see quick wins, but also it's very related to the long term. So it's sometimes we didn't see specifically the impact of our activities. The third one is about local and global. We should pursue that our activities not only can make it in our local environment, but also could be replicated in the world or learn from others as a best practice. The fourth one is about consuming income, not capital. It's more about how can we be more efficient in our costs in order to keep living in a specific way. The 5 is transparency, accountability. We should be trustful and share what we do so far. And the last one is personal values and ethics. So everything, it should be aligned of what we are as a person, what we believe, and what do we want as the future for everybody. So if we take this concept of the six principles with project management that we are reviewing now, we realize there are a lot of ways that how sustainability can be integrated inside project management. For example, Sirius in 2012, he made an interesting analysis in how the process group that we learned so far are impacted in these sustainability principles, right? For example, during the project initiation, you can harmonize the impact of the project with the lens of social, the environment, and the economical activities that you're doing. The planning also prioritize how you're going to perform. It depends of what kind of project you are doing, but most of the activities that we can perform is possible to align with these six principles. And if we continue, so basically the core idea of this session, and I've been thinking about a lot, because sustainability is something that I really like it, and I see it's a complex concepts to share, but I try my best to make it and to put it in very tangible in a very tangible way. So if we remember what is a project, which is a temporary effort, generate a unique product, and you use your knowledge, your skills, tools, and techniques for managing a project. So basically, this kind of project with a sustainability focus is when you involve in all these activities and processes that we are being checking. We involve the impact of the environment, the impact of the social activities, and the impact of the economics activity that you are performing in your project through the whole project life cycle. Remember the initiation, the planning, the execution, the monitoring, closing. All this project life cycle, it could be embedded with sustainability in each stage. So it's a very new perspective, because most of the time when we think about sustainability in project management, we just focus on projects on sustainability, like zero carbon or decarbonization or heliolic energy, and many specific approach, which is good. But there are also another way to also contribute to the planet as a whole, is how responsible we are in our activities, how really they can be aligned with these three factors. So that's why, to wrap up the session, I bring a case study. If we can continue, please. This is a real project. It's a project that I've been leading a couple of years, and it's amazing. It's something that I learn a lot and I keep learning. And it basically is a way how we can see the application of project management with an focus in sustainability. So basically, if we go in Peru, which is a country in Latin America, more than 8 million children couldn't learn how to speak English because the economical factor is huge. So it means that there are 8 million children in a professional arena that potentially they never going to speak English, and the opportunities for growing in the social status is going to be so hard. So this is a reality. This is something that is happening. And in the other side, if we continue, Peru share the Amazon with Brazil, and based on illicit activities, more than 7,100 trees had been falling in 2023. So the Amazon is the CO2 supplier of the world, and we are losing systematically. Um, and there are no any tangible action for the government or the public policies, people for working on it, and there's a huge problem. So in Peru, we have two clear painful moments, which is the learning of English language and how we can take care of our planet in terms of saving the trees. So using project management, how we can tackle this solution. So if we go to the next one, please. So that's why we decided to create LACE. LACE is an environmental English platform in which we provide English classes with climate change awareness to kids from 7 to 14 years old. So what we basically do is in the initiation part of the project, we mix English language concepts with environmental education. So the kids basically learn simple words in English, but has a profound impact for their life. For example, instead of saying, I have a car, they say, I recycle every day, or I compost every night. And this small shift generate a very interesting momentum of them. We use also some nudges to make some interesting behavioral change. So in the first part, in the initiating part, we basically set up the scope. We have some sponsors in the very early beginning. We set up a timeline, and we have clear focus on contribute the environment, of course, the social, because we provide education. I was free education for people from low income students, and for others they pay for that. And this is the economic sustainability, because a social enterprise couldn't work without the cash inflow. So this is what's happened. Then the planning part, if we go to the next one, please. So this was basically the purpose of the project, English for a Sustainable Tomorrow. So and then we start planning the activities. First of all, as a project, we have a deadline. We start working with volunteers, and if we go to the next one, please. The planning process in which we define the scope, the resources, the timeline, the budget, the risk, the procurement that you should get, the stakeholders, how we need to involve not only the sponsors, but also the professors, their parents, how we can create this momentum. And we use all the tools available for free. And that was a very interesting moment to learn how the project start moving forward. And if we keep going, for the execution, we not only use the waterfall approach, which is for another session, I can explain more about what is waterfall, what is agile. We combine both. We use agile for running some eco sprint. We call eco sprint, which is a set of 2 weeks work to see what we do until now. And then we execute it with a lot of learning during the process. And we monitor and control it. If we go to the next one. Well, this is part of the execution. We set up pilot, we make interviews, focus group, we design different methodology, and we ended up using the using classroom, which is was the most effective for our target audience. We monitor everything. We like to measure. As a good project management, you should have accountable for see what's happening, what is working, what is not working, why it's not working, and how you can improve that. And we ended up the project in the closing phase with 7,000 students in 16 countries, more than 78,000 hours. And this is the close for the project. Now it's on the startup phase. So that's why in the example of Duolingo, it's like you create the app, but keep existing because it's not a project anymore, but it's something more, something more bigger. So that's why this is part of how a tangible example of applied sustainability with the lens of a project. And today I'm more than happy. I've been receiving some message on LinkedIn. So for people who like to have a meeting, more than happy to speak. My time zone is London, so you can send me a message on LinkedIn and we can discuss and see the way how can I help you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris. I'm going to leave that up on the screen just for a couple of seconds so anyone who wants to can take advantage of that QR code. That's a really brilliant case study, and I think we've kind of ended off on a perfect place because there are some questions coming in. So just to kind of frame this, and this is personally what I think is incredible about project management as a kind of skill. Previously on Localized, we've had project management professionals from pretty much every sector, all over the world, people doing interesting things. And one lady that really stuck out to me, she was a Canadian professional beekeeper who decided to do the PMP certification. And she sort of, if you like, married those two sets of skills really effectively. And I think for a lot of people coming here today, they're coming from different disciplines, right? So it could be perhaps they're studying engineering or humanities or life science or languages. What sort of programs or courses right this minute can people attending from all different backgrounds, how can they get going with project management? Because I think you covered quite a lot in your presentation, and there'll be people who are feeling really kind of energized and looking forward to getting stuck in. So how do they do that, first of all?
Wow, that's a wonderful question, Catherine, because a couple of years ago I was in the same situation. I took a course at the uni in project management, and it captured my attention, but I didn't know how to do the next step. But fortunately, one day I ended up knowing about the Project Management Institute and this professionals association in which we excel projects for making a positive impact in the world. So what I strongly recommend, and that it works for me, is get involved with the standard of Project Management Institute, which is very clear. There is one certification, the CAMP, which is for all the early professional, even for students who want to
Right.
know and navigate it more about project management. This is the first step to understand more. And as you said, you can be a project manager in the field that you love most.
Mhm.
If you like manufacturing, if you like marketing, commercial, IT, even M&A, financial service,
Yeah.
every single sector use project management. So the most important thing is that as soon as you start getting that momentum, and when you start checking information about the PMI, it's going to be a lot of sense. You always need to see how you can match up with your current aspiration of your interests. So what I found is that sustainability for me works well, and I see very powerful how project management helped me to navigate through. So as soon as you get that, the second phase is to get a project management professional
Okay.
certification with the PMP, but that requires experience. But the first part is the CMP that I recommend you to look for more information. Even if you write me down, I can send you some links. So more than happy to help.
No, that's really helpful. And I think Project Management Institute, for those who are watching today and those who watch the recording later, they do have an active page on Localized with links to various resources. So we can follow up after today with a sort of roundup, but please feel free while you're exploring and enjoying the platform to visit PMI's page. I also think, Chris, it's a nice way of potentially, if you're in a role at a certain company and potentially you're looking to perhaps progress in your career, upskill, maybe get a promotion, it could be I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it could be a nice way of moving up in an organization, getting those project management skills under your belt.
Yes, Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Having a project management skill outstanding your profile enormously
Mm.
because project management give you the possibility to understand the business as a whole,
Yeah.
to prioritize the needs of the stakeholders. Every business environment, even social NGO, public service has stakeholders. And when you start managing and navigating the art of project management, you realize that having an eyes in the ideas or the perspective of stakeholders is very important. But also you need to know what you need to do. So you need to have a clear idea of the scope. But not only the scope, how about the budget? How much do I need to get for performing this activity? Or how much time I have? Or
Mm.
what kind of team I'm gonna get? So without hesitation, in my career, I think something that helps me a lot is that I discovered project management as soon as I finished my bachelor. And since then, I couldn't move out. Like I ended up in Deloitte having the responsibility as a global human capital manager, which allows me to interact with different people from around the world. But I discovered something that really helped me to transition in a very short period is that the option of learning how a project can be run, how you can manage a project, and understand the whole scenario since that project management perspective.
That's a great answer. And actually, just keeping with the Deloitte theme at the moment. So, one of the questions is, what are the common challenges that you have maybe faced in getting, let's say, a sustainability project off the ground? You mentioned that statistic about the Amazon rainforest and, the deforestation that's happening in Peru, in Brazil. Presumably there's sometimes a little bit of pushback from some stakeholders in these big projects. So if you're one of our users who's watching today, how would they navigate that? If they're early in their career, they're starting out in project management, they want to have a positive impact on the planet, but how do they tackle any obstacle? And we'd love to learn from your own experience.
Yeah, that's perfect. There is a concept that I love, which is called competitive sustainability, which is basically how we can make sustainability create a positive impact for all the shareholders, for all the people, and to create that awareness that
Nice.
could be sustainable for something. One of the big challenge, and maybe all of you guys see during the last session, is that sustainability could be a little bit challenged to measure in the short term. We don't have a clear KPIs to see the impact, and maybe that could discourage a little bit. And also nowadays, the policy makers didn't have a very strong regulation for sustainability in terms of something you must do. There are some certain sectors that they have, but most of the activities that companies do so far is because they have the intention to do it, but the intention is not sustainable. So in that process, competitive sustainability comes as a concept to help not only navigate the business challenge, but also the social challenge and the economical and environmental all together. How we can balance the challenge that you have in a multidisciplinary approach. So this is something that I see, and I have some examples from private companies that they are running, and it has until now some positive effects. But at the end, sustainability is going to be depends of what sector you are and how they are planning to go and move forward.
That's really helpful. Thank you. And I know that we're sort of wrapping up. I did have one more question that I'd love to put for you before we are at time and the next session gets underway. But I think the incredible thing about PMI as an institute and a concept is how global it is. And you know that at Localize, we're very much a global family. We have users coming from universities and alumni networks all over the globe. And I would just, drawing on your own career, you've studied in the US, you're now based in the UK, you've been working at Deloitte across LATAM. Could you just speak a little bit about this idea of PMI chapters? Because I think someone coming today who's joining from, potentially the MENA region or from Africa, from Asia, if they start in project management, what kind of support and infrastructure can they expect? What does that look like? It'd be great to sort of end off on that.
Wow, what a great question, Catherine. And yeah, so project management is a global institution and it works in more than 150 countries around the globe. And basically, in each country has a local chapter, which is a group of people who are part of PMI that work and pursue project excellence. So my recommendation is to look for your local chapter to be part of that. There are many activities during the year. There are also volunteer opportunities if you want to learn more about project management, mentorship session, and there is also a great environment. In some of the countries, start running the student club, which is also part of the PMI. And you can join with your friends and learn more from a different perspective. And something that is very valuable is that nowadays, in order to keep moving forward, it's important to create meaningful connection with people that you are interested in. So this is a great advantage of PMI that you go there and everybody on the table they have some feelings with project management and if you now feel like very interested in project management, I strongly recommend you to look for your local chapter, ask how you can join to the activities. Also on LinkedIn, there are other meaningful connection that can help and give you some advices of or guidelines of the community, and also of course be with Localize, because Localize is making such amazing work disseminating different knowledge for professional in the early career stages.
Thank you. No, we appreciate that. And I think just to close off, we are going to end off shortly. I'm just going to reshare Chris's QR code and his email address there so that anybody gets a last chance to take a note of that. The other thing that we will be doing, we will be circulating the recordings in the next couple of days, and also we'll be highlighting the resources to PMI's the CAPM that we mentioned particularly. We'll be circulating all of those. So thank you, Chris, for your time today. You've been very generous with us, and we really appreciate this incredible presentation. I think for those who are sticking around, there's a session that started just now with Jamie Knack, who's talking about careers in compliance with purpose. So probably you wouldn't think it was the most exciting thing, but Jamie's done some very, very important and interesting work for massive global brands like Louis Vuitton and Nike, and she advises some of the best. So would highly recommend that you check out the next session. And Chris, thank you so much. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody. It
A
was a
real
great time.
pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks all.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.